Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 41. Bees have the ability to feel and even estimate time without the use of any external influences. This was discovered by a scientist while doing bee research. To begin, at 4 p.m., they would set a dish of water near the beehive. Soon after, the bees learned to depart the hive at 4 p.m. every day to find the sugar water. However, because they hypothesized that bees would utilize the angle of the sun to tell time, they ran a similar experiment in the dark and discovered that the tray was still found at 4 p.m. Still unconvinced that the warmth of the sun could be relied on, the experiment was relocated to a salt mine far down, entirely separated from the sun. Surprisingly, the bees were once again on time. However, there is some skepticism that bees can rely on the spinning of the planet to tell time. So, the experiment was repeated, but this time with bees from France carried to America, and kept on schedule at 10 a.m. during the voyage by a jet engine plane. And it's hard to believe that when the clock in France struck 4 p.m., the bees on board departed their hives in search of sugar water. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 42. Almost everyone has two deeply ingrained anxieties in their subconscious: a fear of heights and a dread of the dark. These two phobias have been profoundly embedded in human DNA throughout evolution to aid us in avoiding them. There is still one dread, though, about which we are unsure of its specific source. That is the fear of objects like dolls, mannequins, or robots that resemble humans but are not real people. The majority of kids and many adults fear this. We can ascribe this fear in adults to watching scary movies. However, since the majority of kids don't watch these kinds of movies, they don't have any irrational phobias about these things. It follows that the subconscious is the source of this fear, and it's possible that we are afraid of these things because they have scared us in the past for a very long period. Long enough for the dread to become deeply established in our subconscious. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 43. Every one of us is a tiny universe. The solar system has a common structure similar to the atoms that make up your body. This is the network of the universe and the brain cells. The universe's nebula, which resembles human eyes a lot, comes next. The double helix nebula and the structure of human DNA are both quite close to one another. This is the galaxy, which also resembles a spiraled lock of hair. As you can see, everything in the cosmos is connected to one another and is developing in a similar way. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 44. Neuralink, a technology device created by the brilliant billionaire Elon Musk, has the potential to revolutionize society in the future. Through the implantation of a chip inside the brain, it will link the human brain to the World Wide Web. It can aid people in storing memories and playing them back like movies, as well as aiding users in resolving brain-related ailments. Additionally, it gives people psychic skills and possibly the potential to compete with artificial intelligence. Following the successful testing of Neuralink on pigs, researchers continued to implant this device into a monkey's brain and allow it to use a joystick to play video games. They quietly disconnected the joystick while the monkey was playing the game, but the monkey was still able to control it via thinking through the chip's assistance. People who have this chip implanted in their brains in the future may grow smarter and be able to communicate with one another through thinking. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 45. The peculiar manner of examination used by ancient Greek doctors. All bodily fluids were considered to be the most direct indicator of any sickness. A good doctor must be knowledgeable about all bodily fluids, including their taste, smell, hardness, and fluidity, as well as their form and composition. As a result, the doctor will quickly taste your vomit if you are very unwell and vomiting in order to determine what illness you are experiencing. Alternatively, if you have a headache, the doctor may stick his finger in your ear hole, remove it, and then taste your earwax. Even Hippocrates, who known as the father of medicine, frequently collected urine samples from patients and drank them in front of them to make the most accurate diagnoses. Additionally, the ancient Greeks thought that wrestlers' sweat was a superior fluid. They were bottled and sold to wrestler fans. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 46. The strangest component of the human body is DNA. If all of a person's DNA strands were unraveled and laid end to end, they would stretch over 107.8 billion kilometers. Surprisingly, whereas the DNA of the entire human species is up to 99.9%. Same, only the remaining 0.1% has resulted in the enormous variation and diversity in look that we see today. In addition, our DNA shares a 98% similarity with chimpanzees, 85% with mice, and 41% with bananas. About 5-10 DNA segments from humans were also lost during the process of evolution. One of them contains a highly unique DNA section that vanished 700,000 years ago. Any man who carries this DNA fragment in particular will have a delicate area covered with thorns. A Harvard University researcher was able to successfully fit 700 terabytes of data into just 1 gram of DNA in 2012. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 47. The Bizarre Animals in Our World. It is a sun bear. This animal has a really odd appearance and behaves in a very suspicious manner. It seems as though someone is controlling a bear's body while wearing a bear suit. In order to hunt tiny, feeble insects, sun bears also carry a very long, broken tongue. In spite of being named a wolf, the bushy wolf or maned wolf looks more like a fox. Its tail, in particular, resembles a horse's tail, and its walking gait is identical to that of a deer. It will even play with other deer when it believes it is a deer at times. The ocean sunfish is a peculiar fish that can grow to a length of 3 meters and weigh around 2.5 tons. This fish is growing and gaining weight at an alarmingly rapid rate. They can put on an additional kilo of body weight each day as they mature. The ocean sunfish moves quite slowly, despite the fact that it resembles a fighter jet. Due to this and its thin body, seals frequently eat it as seafood pizza. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 48. These are the birds with the coldest blood and the most ruthless habits in the animal world. This is the shoebill. Its wingspan can reach 2.5 meters and over 1.5 meters tall. Large fish, snakes, and even crocodiles are all part of this bird's diet. The head of the prey will be chopped off before the bird consumes it, which is cruel. After chewing the meal into its powerful beak, the shoebill will open its mouth so the prey can pop its head out and signal that it might be saved. To remove the prey's head and consume the remainder, the bird will, however, immediately begin to bite forcefully on its pointed beak. They are not only vicious to other animals, but also to their own siblings. Because any young that emerges from the egg first will wait for the birth of its siblings and welcome them by opening the skull box or shooing them out of the nest in order to improve its own chances of survival and take on all of its mother's care. With a lifespan of up to 35 years, shoebills not only play a nasty role but also live a very long time. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 49. If humans didn't exist, this animal would rule the world. This is the army ant, because of their similar organizational structure and sense of discipline to an army. A 20 million strong army of ants can communicate and march in unison to form an army that is 100 meters long and 20 meters wide, thanks to some extraordinary ability. They are considered to be among the most hazardous creatures in the Amazonian rainforest. Due to the fact that this ruthless army captures more than 100,000 victims every day, including insects, spiders, and even small vertebrates, while they are on the move. Since they don't have a nest, every time they march to a place, the army ants will create a camp in an incredibly unique style. In order to create a huge nest, the soldier ants will cling on to one another. Inside the nest, there are even complex passages and separate rooms used to store food, larvae, and the queen's quarters. Additionally, they employ this strategy to build a bridge that will enable the army to invade and wipe out an entire wasp nest. Strange Facts You May Not Know Part 50. This odd animal looks just like an extraterrestrial creature. This is the hagfish, so named because when threatened, they spray a slimy, 10 times more durable fluid than nylon. A hagfish may shoot approximately 20 liters of this sticky fluid in only a few minutes. In the United States, a car full of hagfish was going on a rocky road, which terrified the hagfish inside, and they all simultaneously spilled masses of slimy fluid into the road. This has destroyed many cars and caused traffic gridlock along a lengthy stretch of road. Hagfish are a nightmare for other animals because of their terrible hunting tactics. They dig a hole in the prey's body with their alien-like fangs. Then they will creep inside and gradually consume the prey's meat from the inside out. Even sharks fear this variety of hagfish because if they attack, the hagfish immediately squirt a big volume of slimy fluid into the shark's mouth, causing it to choke and die.